Welcome to the bottom of it with your host Josh Moriarty.
Welcome to the bottom of it, me, your host Josh Moriarty. Hello everybody, how you doing? Every intro I say the same thing. Hello everybody, how you doing? I guess that's okay. It's very hard. It's not hard. What I'm saying is I have to record my own voice and sit in a room and listen to all of these things and know how much waffling I should do, whether it's cool, how much personality to put into it, how to be me, just trying to be me. Just got to find a way to be me, you know? And I guess this little rant is me showing that I am actually a human being. And yeah, you're getting a full taste of the J-Man. So here you go. Me, Josh. I hope you're enjoying it. Right on. Today's interview is with Robert DeLong. He is an electronic artist, I guess you would call him. Pop club. He kind of throws a little bit of everything in the mix. Miami Horror has been playing quite a few festivals with Robert recently, and that's how him and I got chatting. That's how I got to know him over the last 6 months or so. I kept running into him backstage. And I really like him. He's a really cool dude. He's a very interesting guy. He's very passionate. I enjoy watching his show because he's into his thing, and he's really deep into his thing, and he, not in some kind of up his own arse sort of way, but just he pushes himself, and he has a lot of drive, and I really, really respect that. When someone does something, I like them to do it hard and do it proper. So that's what I really like about Robert. So here you go. Yeah, we had a good chat in LA. He came over to my house and we sat in the studio, covered a whole bunch of things. Enjoy. Listen to this.
Right.
I don't quite understand. Is that?
I think as I've gotten older, it's like I prefer bitter, spicy, and you know what I mean. And sweet things don't do anything for me. You know.
Has your music taste changed as you've?
Yeah, I think I just like boring music now.
Like boring music?
No, totally. My music tastes have changed. I think yeah. I mean, some of my favorite music to listen to now is just music that'll be space out music. You know, I can listen to fucking the same drum loop for 20 minutes straight now. You know.
So more simplicity as you get older.
Yeah, it's I'm just more attracted to minimal things and things that are more mood music, at least as far as listening, you know. I'm still all about, I love writing pop music, which is more fun to write, I think. But
have you always, so you were in other bands before you were doing this thing?
Yeah.
What, rock and roll, or I feel like everyone was a little bit rock and roll when they were younger, weren't they? Punk.
Totally. Well, I mean, in high school and stuff, I was in pop punk bands. And it was the age of that.
How old are you, 30, 31?
I'm 30, yeah.
30.
So it was, I lived in Seattle, and it was, if you weren't in a pop punk band, you were in a hardcore band, and I wasn't into hardcore. So.
Yeah, so your two options. I think I was in a kind of Mars Volturi, Blood Brothers at the drive-in kind of thing when I was younger.
Dude, Blood Brothers, they're from Seattle, and they used to play
Yes, they are, that's right.
They used to play literally down the street from my house at this it was literally a shack that would had been turned into a venue. But anyway, yeah. And then in college and after college, I was in just a ton of folk rock and indie rock kind of bands. And
was there anyone that was going to be the big band that you were going to make it and be world famous and take over the world?
No, I mean, there's a couple bands that we took pretty seriously, and we felt had some momentum. But it was this band called The Denouement that was my...
I saw that on the internet.
Yeah, it was kind of my pet project. Was me, and it was really... I mean, there was 6 of us in the band, but it was me and these 2 guys were really we kind of devoted a lot of time and energy into that band, and it was just a little bit too weird
musically. 6 of you all contributing ideas?
Yeah,
doesn't help, eh?
Right. It was always I think what always happened is you always went with the weirder option because everyone could agree that was okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Makes sense.
The music was cool though, and I think the most important thing is I learned a lot about recording, and that was important.
So you do your own production for the Robert DeLong stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I do all my own production, and then I'll work with other producers to finish off a track and stuff like that. Sometimes I find that at some point you lose perspective if it's just you the whole time.
I completely agree, yeah.
I'm sure you understand that.
You start losing your mind.
Yeah.
So what happened with that band? It just...
I mean, supposedly we're still together, I guess.
Oh, okay.
We've been together for 15 years now. Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, there's no.
You kind of break up with the fizz, don't you? Most bands, it just kind of eases
yeah, it wasn't
out.
like there was like a big fight or something.
No.
It was literally
Everyone just moves on slowly.
I started touring all the time, really, with my own
with Robert
DeLong, and actually the guitarist from the band was my sound guy for 3 years for Robert DeLong, and he was touring with me the whole time too. So that kind of put a kibosh on the band.
Yeah. Did you think about getting any of those guys involved, or it was
with Robert DeLong?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's kind of funny. I mean, like, the lead singer of that band was a lead singer because he was the lead singer, but he was actually, he makes, like, art cartoons, like these, like, and it's really cool stuff, and his life is just totally consumed by doing that.
Yeah.
And, everybody else had their own thing going on.
I guess that's it, isn't it? It's just, as the years go by, you start to see who really wants to continue doing music.
Right.
I've had so many friends in the bands that are now, so many different careers, and I'm one of the only ones who is still doing this.
That's crazy. Are you, what kind of bands were you in before this? I mean, you said like Mars Volta.
Yeah, heaps of different stuff. I mean, I had a band in New Zealand called 1QA with some good friends, and we moved to Australia together. So I grew up in New Zealand, and that was, kind of post-rock. Once I discovered how to scream in songs, I did it in every single song constantly. So really screamy stuff, and then that just got more ridiculous after that. Then that band broke up, and then I joined a whole bunch of other bands for people, and then eventually ended up in Miami Horror.
And you scream all the time, dude. Just
you know what? There's a couple of screams live, but more of the Prince scream than the other one.
Yeah.
So you're playing this Meadows thing on this weekend. We're both doing that one.
Sunday, I guess, is when I'm playing.
So you're on tour at the moment for everything, or always a little bit on tour?
Yeah. I mean, since end of 2012, I've been always on tour, and it was about 6 months ago that was like the first time that I've kind of just had like, I'll have like weeks off and then like, do like weekend stuff.
Yeah. Does it wear you out?
I mean, when you're on the road continuously, it does. Doing the weekend stuff is great, dude. I can do that all day.
I'm happy to do those ones as well. The fly-ins.
Yeah, the fly-ins. And, usually the fly-ins are, if you're doing a fly-in, it's usually better money or something like, or it's a cool show.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit more invigorating knowing it's like, I'm going to work really hard this weekend, make money so I can get through the week, and then you do it again,
Is there a big difference it just being a one-man band? Obviously you would have done some touring as a band with other guys. What's the main reason, I guess, for it just being you? Because it is just you on stage doing all sorts of shit.
It is just me on stage.
There's a million things plugged in.
I don't really know. I mean, I just kind of. I mean, I guess when I started doing my project and started performing with it.
You wouldn't have had that many things going on when you first started, right?
No, I mean, it was a lot simpler setup for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like 2 or 3 controllers and. I'd also play guitar or something. But I started doing it this way literally because I was in so many bands. I was probably playing in 6 bands consistently and another 10 bands just when they would call me. Mm-hmm. So it was just like I was constantly playing.
Yeah.
And it was just like I don't want to have to worry about like either paying musicians or getting them to show up to rehearsals sober.
It's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare.
I'm just going to do my thing. I'm going to stay up late in the garage and work it out. And then when I started performing, that was kind of I feel like that was kind of my shtick that people were attracted to is the fact that I was doing it all myself. And then, from there, it just kind of made sense. I mean...
Have you thought about getting anyone else involved?
Yeah, actually.
I'm sure, of course, it's crossed your mind.
Yeah. I mean, no, and actually, for these next 3 shows, I'm gonna have a special guest joining me on some songs.
Who's your special guest? Can't say.
We'll save it till afterwards. If this is gonna go online before that.
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay, then I'll tell. It's this girl. I mean, I don't even know if you know her, but Maya Tuttle. She plays with this band called The Colorist, and she's a drummer, singer. And I was really just interested in getting. Well, I have like on the tracks, I have like lots of background vocals, lots of female stuff actually in some tracks.
Yeah.
That, has always just been track stuff live. It'll be like track BGVs or something like that. And so I thought it'd be cool to have a female vocalist for that reason. And then I have just so much percussion stuff going on. I was just interested in getting another body on stage and seeing how the interaction
going to pull a lot of the stuff out of the tracks?
Some of it, yeah, and it's just going to be,
just add more.
I mean, I think really what it comes down to is, just more faders for my sound guy to deal with. But no, I'm pumped because, really, I've done a few things like Coachella. I had a couple guest people join me on stage, and I've done that before, and it's always really fun for me because it's like, finally I'm not like just trying to. It's like I have somebody to interact with. There's energy to feed off.
Yeah, do you get a little lonely out there by yourself? Yeah,
sometimes, yeah. Especially on the big stages, like when we're doing like festivals.
Which is kind of all the ones I've seen you on recently have all been the big festival ones.
Right, because I mean, when it's like a little club show, you're kind of up in people's faces and it's
and you can get the audience energy more for sure.
But when you have like a 15 feet of barricade in front of you and then like, whatever. Yeah. And then there's like, and then it's sundown and there's like 30 people in the audience,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Are you working on a new record at the moment?
Yeah.
So you've done two, that's right?
Yeah, put out two full-length albums. The first one was literally like, I think it was maybe the third time I'd put it out.
Really?
I mean, the first two times were by myself and I had like kind of changed it each time. And like, it was just like I was out there touring, doing my own thing, wasn't signed yet. And then once I got signed, they were like, yo, we have to like actually, get this properly mixed and put it out.
And did it make it better? I'm interested to know.
I mean, sonically, I think the most important thing is I learned about mixing and like how to make a record sound like real.
Sometimes with label people, I feel like they just have to do something because they want to do something because it's their job to be involved, even if they don't necessarily need to be.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Everybody has to have. They just feel like their position is important.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that.
Yeah. No, but I mean, actually, to be honest, my label's been pretty cool about stuff, and more than anything, my A&R guy there, Mark, at Glass Nut, he was kind of the guy that, he was the guy that, I wouldn't say discovered me, but you know what I mean, like, he was the one that showed up to one of my first residency shows here in fucking Los Globos, actually.
Right, down there, down the road.
And he showed up and, he was there, I think my first Los Globos residency, and was immediately afterwards just like, yo, let's do this, let's make this happen. And it obviously took some months to get there. But
so you were living in LA at the time? Do you live here now?
I don't live here now, not anymore. I live in Denver now. I lived here up until 9 months ago.
Okay.
And I lived here for, it was about a decade, yeah. So.
Right. So the reason for leaving, just...
I don't know, man. I was just ready to just try something new. It's fun. It'd been a long time since I'd had to get to know new people, get to know a new city, and it's just fun to do that for me.
Well, I've basically just moved here, and I'm really enjoying being here because it is a whole new thing.
Well, LA is cool, man. There's always something happening, and that's something when I come back here, even after living in Denver for only 9 months or whatever, coming back here, it's like there is a certain energy here because everybody here is working on something creative, even if they're also working at Lowe's the rest of the time or whatever it is,
I'm quite happy to be here a little bit older, I think, and, able to observe things with a little bit more, I don't know, wisdom, perhaps. I think if I'd come when I was younger, it may have just chewed me up and spat me out a little bit.
Yeah.
It has that ability, although so do most cities, I guess.
So, yeah, LA, though, has got that. There's something like simultaneously like wonderful and something like also at the same time soulless about LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to be careful. Is there a message to your music? Is there something you're trying to put across to people? What sort of drives it for you?
I don't know. I think initially when I was writing songs, the thing I grew up in a very like conservative evangelical Christian environment,
Right.
which I think is common for a lot of people in the States. But and so I even went to like a Christian college and everything, and it was like I was just so done with it. Like I was just so past the
That seems to be what happens.
Yeah, really,
for
really-
everybody like that.
really burnt out on the whole thing, and I felt like, you know, I don't know, I had this moment. I'd say like, you know, some people have like these like transcendent conversion experiences. I suppose I had a transcendent deconversion experience, and that was sort of like, not to say like my music was all like anti-God or something like that, but it was like, you know, I was excited about like, you know, like the sort of like humanist perspective, and so that was like what I was writing music about. But you know, at this point, that's not. That's not what I'm writing music about, and so that was I think the kind of overriding theme to why I started writing these types of songs.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, you know, I don't know. I guess the theme of my music is to go. You know, I don't even know.
It doesn't necessarily also need to be the theme of the music. It's kind of the whole, just the energy that you put across and the way that you interact with fans and all sorts of
Right.
people. I think that's all part of it.
I think my biggest thing is, you know, I like the idea of that you can hold in your mind the idea that there's like some serious things going on in the world, and it's, you know, there's a lot of troubling feelings that you might have, but then also simultaneously you can have a really good time, and you know, and that the seriousness of those things can be presented in a kind of lighthearted or even silly way, you know. I don't know. I've always thought, since, you know, like in high school, dude, I took music so seriously. I thought everything had to be like Radiohead, and everyone had to be like somber and sad about everything all the time,
absolutely.
or something.
I know that one.
And there was like a moment of like, it was sometime after college, and I feel like it was when I started getting into electronic music more. Like, you know, I was like probably like 2008 going to like these like dirty raves on the east side of
There
LA.
was a real, if you'd grown up with, you know, punk rock and roll and all that, I feel like there was a sort of a pressure in that environment that you had to be, you know, you had to be really punk rock, or you had to be so true and all that, that it almost poisoned the culture slightly. So that
Right.
when electronic music turned up, and I was the same, probably at the same time, like, you know, mid 2000s, discovered it myself as well, and it just seemed like there was a real freedom to it because
Right.
we'd grown up with so much, you know, serious sort of rock and roll and all of that music, that, yeah, electronic music was so exciting at that point in time.
Totally. No, and that was it. I mean, you know, and it's kind of funny because right at the same time I was like getting into, you know, and I started at the raviest end of the spectrum, and really like was immediately like, you know, this
What
is
sort of bands? What sort of...
I don't even know. I mean, like, I was going to like these like crazy like happy hardcore raves, dude. It was like silly. But it was like right at the same time that the dubstep thing started happening in LA, and I was immediately attracted to that because it was something new. You know, you'd never heard sounds like that, and then, you know, and that went from like in 1 year from like like this is cool and new to like, oh God, can we make it stop pretty quick. But yeah, I don't know. But it's kind of funny because at the same time, I was also getting like really into like Talking Heads, and like I was listening to like you know, Bowie's Berlin trilogy and stuff like that, and so like all those kind of things started to interest me a lot. And then I don't know, I don't know, like the idea that you can be serious and talk about something interesting, but then also like, you know, shake your ass and have a good time, you know.
Yeah, well, like, one of my favorite, you know, lyrics is in George Harrison, the Beatles song "While My Guitar Gently Weeps." I think it says, "For every mistake we must surely be learning, still my guitar gently weeps." And then it's, "I look at the floor and see it needs sweeping." And it's just like this thing of saying something quite profound and pathetic, and then the next line is just, "Oh yeah, but the floor needs sweeping as well."
Right.
You know, it's that sort of balance between, you can get as deep as you want looking at life and looking at religion and all of these things, but ultimately you've still got to take a shit in the morning and get on with the rest of your day.
Totally. That's, you know, something I actually always think is about the Beatles is funny because it's like, it's always this, you know, at one point it almost seems like some, you know, a lot of their songs are about, you know, sort of this like like these massive concepts, and then the other side it's like all this really pedestrian stuff, like rubbing a comb across their head or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a great balance that if you can harness that.
Yeah.
So where would you say you're at with the religion thing now? I'm interested to know.
Oh, I mean, I
feel like it never goes away though, right? Like if you've had that sort of upbringing, as much as you can turn from it, you still will always be there a little bit, and you have to find your own way with it.
I mean, I would say what I tell people it's like I don't know, a level 5 agnostic or something. No, I mean, I'm definitely not Christian, not even a little bit. I mean, the religion terrifies me. I'm so not interested in going to church. And really, I'm not. I think I just have this like logical dissonance with it. Like I just can't. I couldn't do like Christianity. But I don't know. I think because I grew up with it, I can't escape the almost like the format. Like I need the like I love like that's why I can't write fucking love songs. I have to like I feel like songs have to be about bigger things or something like that. You know, because you grew up with like songs that are like every song's about holy praise him, .com or whatever. So I don't know. Or did you grow up Christian? Did you grow up
not in New Zealand and Australia. It's not really a thing. I mean, of course, there's still a lot of Christians and there's a lot of churches and things, but it's
you guys got Hillsong for that,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, they were New Zealanders who moved to Australia. I only just found out. I went to a Hillsong thing recently with a friend of mine. I find it. I sort of got into Christianity later in my late 20s, so it was quite a good time for me in that all of the decisions I was making about it were my own. Nothing was forced on me.
Right.
I'd spent my life growing up very, very atheist, and then just slowly started to look at it from the other angle, and I found it quite helpful and quite beautiful. So it was my own discovery of sorts. But I feel a bit weird about it as well. At the moment, I think I'm a positive nihilist.
Positive nihilist.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Why do you think it is that people create music? Like, what is it that kind of do you think that we're as musicians offering to the world?
Well, I think from a basic sense, it's music across the board offers catharsis for people for whatever reason. I mean, it helps people feel something, and oftentimes that helps them feel good, and then helps them do something with their life later. It's like, I'm having a shitty day, turn on this dope song, and all of a sudden I'm having a good day, and everything's great.
But yes, of course. I mean, I've felt that myself. I'm sure you have too.
But I think music goes. Music runs so deep in our brains. I think, you think about this. The fact that you can remember lyrics to a song when it's set to a melody, like so much better than you could ever remember something you read today or something you heard a pundit saying on TV or something. And I think that goes way back. You talk about oral tradition and stuff like that. It was all chanted, it was all sung, and that's how people passed down wisdom over, generations, 10,000 years. And I think that there's something hardwired. I think that there's probably an evolutionary component. Like we
clearly just have to do it because it hasn't slowed down and it's getting more intense.
Right.
There's more of it than anything. So yeah, it's obviously doing something.
Yeah, I don't know, and it's hard to know where it comes from, but it's clearly a huge part. I think that music is probably the first art form that humans engaged in. I think probably even more than drawing or painting or anything, because what do you need? You need a rock and another rock, and you need to howl over it, and then that's music. You don't need like some weird plant that you have to make some paint out of, and then it's like a imaginary concept. That's it.
If it's coming straight out of your face hole as well, it makes it pretty easy. There's so much of it now, more than ever. It's starting to overwhelm me slightly. I don't quite know what to make of it, and I almost feel bad making more of it myself. You know, I'm really going through a bit of a crisis at the moment because I'm wanting to release a new project that I've started, but I'm also just wondering, like, the world doesn't really need it. Like, what does it even matter anymore? I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm doing these podcasts. I'm just trying to talk to more and more people to try and figure out where I sit in this whole big bad world of it and what I actually think anymore.
Well, the world never really needed it anyway. I mean, I think
true.
do it, just do it, dude, and then.
Well, I always will.
Right. You can't stop it at this point.
No, I can't.
I mean, I couldn't get a real job now if I tried. So.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit old for it, aren't we? There's no going back. I was talking to George from Twin Shadow, and he sort of mentioned the same thing. It's like, well, yeah, but what the fuck else are you going to do, man? Like, this is what you do now. It doesn't really matter, but I guess you need a purpose on this planet, and if this is what you think your purpose is, then you just have to keep going.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know, man. But I think it's great that there's so much music happening these days, and I'm so happy that that sort of the curtain has been lifted between the world of, like, you know, production and recording, and then the normal person. It's like now a guy can buy a laptop and make music that could potentially sound as good as something that they heard on the radio, and that, I think, because of that, you know, it's a double-edged sword, but it's cool because you're hearing things that are like, wow, that's well produced and really interesting, made in a garage, but then because of that, it's like there were no restrictions on, like, the kind of weird shit they could do, you know, which is cool to hear that. The other side is then it's just all noise, and you can't even tell what you should like anymore because no one's telling you it.
Well, everyone's telling you at the same time.
I guess, yeah.
About some other thing. I think I'm maybe a little dubious as to why a lot of people are I feel like since we created social media and the ability for, like you see, like the curtain to have been raised, but more so for fame. So everyone can now see what all these famous people are doing, and they're making their lives look more exciting than they are, right? You see Kim Kardashian, and, you know, I'll just use her as an example. It's a very basic example, but being at all these fashion events and all these, so everyone wants to be affiliated with this upper class sort of fame thing. And I'm wondering if a lot of art that is now being created is purely just for people to climb the social ladder rather than being an earnest thing from their soul.
I mean, absolutely.
I mean, clearly that is true, yeah.
I mean,
but that doesn't really matter, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I think in the end, like, as long as you know, as long as we live in societies with these kind of governments and cultures, art is always gonna be corrupted and perverted by by the system, you know. And I don't know, I'm not like a political theorist. I have no idea how we escape the system. But, you know, I think the other side of it is just, you know, I mean, if this is what we got, make the best of it or something. I don't know. Have a good time.
Positive nihilism.
There you go. Yeah. I don't know, man. I do agree though. I mean, it's sometimes like I'll be listening to the radio and just be like, you know, why do I even bother, dude? Like, people love this song, and it's like literally, it's just nonsense words about nothing.
Yep.
Like, and then the other side of it is like, and people actually like this because he's got like a dope Instagram account or something. You know?
Yes.
Oh my God, dude. So my girlfriend drives for Lyft when she's in LA, when I'm doing writing sessions and stuff. And she picked up this guy is a rapper yesterday, a couple days ago. And she said that he was literally in the backseat just calling his friends and being like, yo, yeah, I'm just counting my bills right now. He was back there literally just counting his money in the backseat. And he's like, hey, can I play my shit, dude? And she's like, sure. And so he plugs in his music, and he plays his music like, and just like on blast and just like yelling at it, like just like getting into it back there. Wow. It's the funniest thing. So anyway, there's that side of it.
There really is that side of it. Yeah. Well, hip hop, I mean, that's, you know, I feel like that's the message being perpetuated in that genre a lot.
Right.
It's very me. I'm the greatest. I think that's why I've really tuned out of listening to a lot. I mean, I'm sure there's some great hip hop, but
Right.
most of the stuff that I'm hearing on the radio and things, I just can't. It just does not resonate with me because it's about something that just seems too ego driven for me to get into.
Yeah, I mean, money, misogyny, and drugs. I feel like it's like
Yeah, like maybe two of those things is cool. But do you have any hobbies outside of music to keep yourself sane?
I mean, I don't think I'm sane at all, but running. I mean, running is one of those things that I just have to do to stay.
Like getting older.
Yeah, I mean, I realized that sometime in my mid-20s, I was like, yo, if I don't start working out now, it's just going to get harder and harder, and then everything's going to go bad. And especially, running. I love running.
Is that a hobby?
I think it is, actually.
Maybe.
For me, yeah.
Well, you love it, so I think that makes it a hobby of sorts. You have to enjoy your hobbies, don't you?
Yeah.
Computer games? You're a computer game guy? Is that right? Or you just use the controllers for live stuff?
Yeah, I wish I could say that I was more into computer games because my fan base usually is.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the impression I got.
Yeah. No, I mean, I do play video games here and there, but I don't think more than anybody else I play probably less than anybody else my age that's like a gamer or something.
Yeah.
Mostly it's like I'll play Mario Party when I'm like, when it's like
one.
3 a.m. and I feel like I can't sleep. And then, I mean, I guess I like bowling when I can. Bowling's fun.
I just feel like most of the musicians I've spoken to, none of them really have hobbies. They're kind of drinking while on tour and some partying and making music, and that's sort of basically what everyone's doing. There's a few little bits and pieces here and there, but...
I mean, I love playing board games too. I mean, I can get down with Dominion and some Settlers of Catan. But this is something that I think about. When you're on tour, what else is there to do? Because you finish a show, midnight, 1 a.m., and it's like, well, what are you going to do now? Like,
go home or go to the club.
Right, and if you go home, then all you do, first of all, it's impossible to fall asleep because you just came off an adrenaline rush or something. And then what? And then...
You feel very lonely as well.
And then you have like an 8 a.m. lobby call to sit in a car for 5 hours after, or a van for 5 hours after that. So your options are basically like, you either go out or you go back to the hotel room and sit in there alone and watch TV until you fall asleep. Like,
I remember there was one tour quite a few years ago now, and I was just so sad. And I was at the bar. I didn't want to drink and I didn't want to party, but I didn't want to go home to the hotel room. And I just remember sitting at the bar and having a drink, and I just started crying.
Oh my God. That's intense.
Yeah, it's just been too much time on the road, and it's just having one of those really sad moments. Like, I don't know what the fuck I want to do. I've just felt so trapped and stuck at that point. I haven't had that in a long time, but I remember that moment. I feel like a lot of people must have had that on the road,
I mean, 2013, when we were just slugging, dude, it was just flying and doing crazy shows back to back to back, and at the time it was like we were playing everything from like, oh, it's cool, crazy festival, to like, I'm playing a weird conference room for a bunch of like ad executives, and then the next thing I'm doing is like a show supposedly for fans, but it's like 15 people there, and it's just like everything was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's my first time doing this, and then like, I mean, I remember at one point it was like 5 shows in 3 days, and I was at the end of this long run, and we just come from Europe, and I was so exhausted, and it was just like I had one of those moments where I just like fucking broke down. Same kind of thing, and I was like in the hotel room, just like, what the fuck? What's the point of this? Like, I'm like, and like literally, like they know the next show I'm playing is not actually for people. It's for like some like industry people who are they're just gonna cross their arms and look at me. You know what I mean? It's like, this is stupid.
I guess that's just life, isn't it? No matter
right.
Any job, any profession, there's going to be a million people. They've got a family at home, they're at work one day, and they're just like, I don't know why I'm doing any of this. Everyone's going to feel trapped.
And then the next morning I wake up and realize, like, dude, I have the best job in the universe.
We got a great job.
I get to travel around, meet people, party, play music, which is fun, and it's not really like work. I mean, setting up your gear is the part that's like work.
Yeah, and the waiting around. But that's not really work, is it?
Yeah,
It's just waiting. Is there an end goal? Is there something you haven't done? Is there a future is there a point where you could feel like, okay, I've done it all now and be contented with this career?
I don't know. I mean, I think that's the trick, isn't it? Is that, you know, if you're ever satisfied, then you're dead. I mean, there's really no, you know what I mean? There's no.
That's true.
I mean, you know, I'd love to say that I'm more zen about life, that I could like somehow like just find contentment in everything. But you know, to me, it's always like if I lose the drive, then I'm not interested anymore. And I'm always interested. So I don't know though. I'm playing Red Rocks next Monday, so a week from today, I guess.
Is that your show?
Well, I'm playing with Tears
Tears
for
for
Fears.
Fears. Yes, I've got it written on my notes here. Playing with Tears for Fears,
Which is wacky, but I'm super pumped. I mean, that to me is like
amazing.
Like Red Rocks to me is like a.
I've never played there. I've never even been there.
Oh, man.
Everyone around me's been talking about it. Everyone's done it.
Yeah.
I've got to get on the bill somehow.
I mean, I never. It was funny because we moved to Denver 9 months ago. April was about when they start shows at Red Rocks, and I was immediately like just hitting up my booking agents like every couple weeks, like, yo, there's another show at Red Rocks, gonna get in, and
Get me on the bill.
yeah, and so I went to like 3 or 4 shows at Red Rocks this summer, and it's just the most glorious place to see a show. I mean, like I think maybe the Gorge, as far as American venues, I think the Gorge in Washington is maybe the only other place that's nearly as beautiful or
Okay,
interesting.
I know that one.
The Gorge, yeah, they do Sasquatch, which is like a big festival they do there. That would have been what you probably would have been on. And the rest of it is either like they do stuff like Dave Matthews for a weekend, which I don't think you'd ever play with Dave Matthews. I'm sorry.
I don't understand, no.
or like dubstepconference.com or whatever, and I don't think that's you either. So yeah, but yeah, no, that to me is like one of those like bucket list things, like playing Red Rocks. Yeah.
Any other bucket list ones? There's got to be a few more.
Well, I mean, I need to play Japan, dude. I've never been to Japan.
Yeah, we did it one time, Miami Horror.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was really fun. I mean, yeah, the show was good, but more just I think we got 3 days there, and just
sick.
the being taken around and hanging out was a great part of it.
Dude, I was looking yesterday, $400 round trip flights to Japan in around Thanksgiving. Really tempted.
Why not? But once you've played a lot of gigs, I don't like to do much without it being a part of the band. You get so used to the preferential treatment that I like to go places and be escorted and all that. I don't know, I've got it a bit.
I do. I know what you mean, because there is something really nice about like you have people that are trying to show you cool stuff in a city and stuff like that. But I love like, I don't know. I love like walking around a city with my hood on and like just going to like, if I can find just like a weird seedy dive bar to go and hanging out, like doing that.
You happy
thing.
cruising around by yourself? Well, you're in a one-man band.
Yeah, I mean, I always got my crew and like my girlfriend's there a lot and like whatever, and that's cool. But yeah, man, I like doing. I'm a weird guy, dude. I'll go when I'm in Denver. I'll find like these warehouse events and just go alone, with my hood on, dance to like some weird electronic music.
Yeah.
Go home at like 5 a.m.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Hey, I think that'll do it.
Sick.
Thank you very much for taking the time.
Cheers, my friend. Thank you.
There you have it, Robert DeLong, ladies and gentlemen. What a guy. It was a pleasure taking the time out to talk to him. I find him very, very interesting. If you haven't, check out his record. It is called In the Cards. It came out last year. He's got a couple of big songs off that. If you haven't seen his show, get along to one. It's a one-man full spectacle. He's doing all of it. As you heard us talk about it, I'm impressed with his abilities. So yeah, make sure you check out Robert DeLong. Thanks again for tuning in to The Bottom of It with me, your host, Josh Moriarty. Plenty more coming. I keep saying that, and I guess I'm delivering it. There's a lot more interviews going to be here. So yeah, stay tuned. Thanks a lot. Take care.